Algo importante para tener en cuenta en la charla que se viene ahora es que es necesario que agarren los auriculares.
Sí.
Así que los y las invitamos a que por favor agarren auriculares en la
Quien
entrada,
necesite
quien
para
necesite
traducción.
para traducción, porque la charla va a ser en inglés, ¿verdad?
Sí, es una entrevista con un personaje de la industria del entretenimiento espectacular. El foco o el punto de partida va a ser el caso Botafogo, un club que ha crecido muchísimo a partir de la inversión privada, a tal punto de liderar Brasileirao y además ser finalista de Copa Libertadores, final única que va a disputar contra el Atlético Mineiro en el Estadio Monumental.
Exactamente, así que por eso les sugerimos que si quieren pueden ir buscando auriculares para poder estar más cómodos y poder comprender los que quieren la distinta charla, ¿no?
Perfecto. ¿Querés presentar a nuestro próximo moderador, expositor también?
Sí, sin dudas. Vamos por favor a preparar nuestras palmas para darle un fuerte aplauso a Nicolás López Fagundes. Él es el director de MUDE y quien va a estar moderando la charla con John Textor, que es el chairman de Eagle Football. Un fuerte aplauso para él, por favor. ¿Estamos todos bien?
Todo suyo.
Perfecto.
John.
Ahí está, mirá qué bien.
Hi, John. How are you doing?
Disfruten.
I'm not John Textor. John Textor is there. I'm here of Museos Deportivos, MUD, MUGI, as they call us in Brazil. We are well known as the Boca Juniors, River Plate, Benfica, also Flamengo. Sorry for that, John. But Benfica. So our journey started in Boca 20 years ago. Now we are working with the Fogão. We are proud to do that. But when Durcesio called us, invited us to make the Botafogo Museum, we start with a really, really challenging project because you, John, as turning our project really difficult. You are making history day by day. So how it will work?
Well, we're hoping you leave some extra wall space just for the future. Obviously, we have a great history, and I'm very proud to be representing Botafogo today in front of all of you, and I thank you for the invitation, but I think you need to have some extra wall space because we hope to fill it with new content.
Absolutely, John, but I mean, nobody came here to listen to me, so let's start the fire and tell us the story about how you traveled from Hollywood to Botafogo, no? How you did it.
Well, I do have to ask, are we going to have a translator? Should I pause for translation?
Yeah, but you can go on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's no real way to connect Hollywood to football. I think we all get connected to football in different ways. It's a game that most of us have played. You know, I certainly started playing football, known as soccer, back when I was 9 years old. And of course, in the United States, there are many other sports that distract us along the way. But given that I was leading a life that in business was somewhat global, it's hard to ignore how important this sport is to the world. It's of far greater scale and importance in bringing together people and communities and viewers than any other sport in the world. So I might have started this journey thinking that American football or baseball, you know, was dominant on the world stage, but that's not true at all. Once you get beyond the United States, it's all football. So Hollywood didn't connect me to football. You know, football connected me to football, and it's just obvious, you know, how important it is around the world.
Yeah, but sometimes many people ask me about you, and the easy way to present you is like Elon Musk on football. How you think about it?
Well, my decision to get into football as a business happened because I was frustrated with what I was seeing in this academy I started. Back in 2005, I started a football academy called FC Florida, and we were trying to get kids to use their soccer, as we called it, to get into universities. And there are many kids in the United States that are here with sort of half immigration. They might have come, illegally to no fault of their own as young children. They're allowed to go to schools in the United States, but when it comes time for them to go to university, they don't qualify for the same financial aid that everybody else in the country is able to access. So I started an academy focused on the colleges that were most generous with financial aid. And these kids, we refer to them as DACA kids, the DREAM Act kids. They're kids from South America that don't have full residency or citizenship status. And without federal financial aid, they don't have the same opportunities. So this academy I still have it today. This was my entry into football because I started seeing that the best football players in the country were not represented on the United States national team. They could not go to American universities because they couldn't get the money to do so. And so since 2005, I've been helping to get kids from South America and Central America into universities, great universities, the most expensive universities in the United States, entirely at no cost to themselves because they couldn't afford it. So that's how I got into football. And that's how all of these clubs that we acquire, they're academy based, because that just became my personal sort of passion along the way. Academy based youth development, helping kids to become, more complete people, whether they go into football or they go into the workplace. And for me, it was FC Florida that got me started in football.
Right, right. So now we are going to talk about the social commitment. The River Plate Foundation is now on the next panel, but I would like to know, when you choose Botafogo, is why Botafogo? I know Durcesio's story, and Durcesio is a great guy selling us the Botafogo story, but tell us why for you, what's the link?
Well, the link first started in Brazil because in South Florida, we obviously have a tremendous population of people from Spanish-speaking countries, Cuba, Central America, South America. And we had close personal friends that were from Brazil. My brother married a Brazilian woman, I have a beautiful niece, Olivia, who's still very connected to her Brazilian sort of culture. She speaks the language. So I was very aware, obviously, of the national teams over the years, whether it's on the men's side or the women's side. So for me, Brazil, was the only place I wanted to start. And I wanted to be able to, dive into the experience, get to know the country. And then these guys, Tyro Aruda, the CEO, Danilo Caixero, they contacted me on LinkedIn. They wrote a nice note telling me I should sort of follow their ideas and get into Brazilian football. I think Tyro has remembered this story better than I did. Apparently, I wrote back to him and said, I appreciate the note, but you're going to have to do better on your pitch. This just isn't good enough. Try again, and maybe we'll have a call. And so I was joking around, of course, but he took it very seriously. He did write a longer letter to me. It was much, much better. He led that letter by making sure I knew that he went to Yale University, which was his way of telling me that he was smarter than I am. So I listened. Next thing you know, I'm making an offer to buy Botafogo. So I can tell you that Tyro can be a very convincing guy at times, and now I'm here on this journey, which I'm very grateful for.
Right. Now, here in this room, there are a lot of people interested in understand how is your relationship with Durcesio? How you deal with this Botafogo Social and Olímpico?
Well, obviously, I've met many people in the social organization. my closest relationship is obviously with DeCesio. It took great courage at the social club level with DeCesio and, the many other board members that decided to pursue the SAF structure. And so much work was done in advance to put Botafogo in position to be, the first, along with Cruzeiro, to take this step. Honestly, there was such great criticism of everything we were doing at the beginning. He knew that would be difficult. Every decision would be micro-analyzed, every player trade. We were expected to start with only 3 players that had ever played in the top division. And when we bought the club on March 11, 2022, the supporters wanted us to win a championship, in the first year. And we only had 4 weeks to put together a complete roster. So DeCesio insulated me from a lot of that and kept defending the project. Even people at the social club would call him and say, you have to be harder on Textor and on the SAF. And there were great pressures in their social club, which I think similar to, what other social clubs have gone through, where they've really pressured the SAFs. In some cases, it's appropriate. Obviously, 777, did not meet some of their obligations, and so it was appropriate for Vasco to take control of that situation. And I think in retrospect, that looks to have been a good decision. In our case, I think people wanted to throw us out right away because, they didn't understand the decisions we were making, and the movement of players was always controversial. DeCesio was able to protect us from all that. And ultimately, our relationship with the social club, many people at the social club, it's much, much better now. We're very well aligned and very integrated. Not just DeCesio, but deep into the social organization. We've got great friendships.
Absolutely. For anyone here in Buenos Aires didn't know the story, Botafogo Club social is excellent. Doing now a lot of athletes performing in Paris for rowing. No, there are many athletes in Botafogo Social and Olímpico. It's a great success story also about thinking about social, not only on the pitch, on football pitch. But finally,
yeah, I know they're divided. They're divided, right? We're just football, but it is a big family. So I do watch. The origins of the club were rowing, regattas, and I've got some fun relationships there with, Lucas and some other, some of the top athletes. I like the basketball. I enjoy the entire contribution of the social club. I don't have any financial involvement in any of that, but it's a big part of who we are as a football club, the right. Social club itself.
Right. And finally, I will want to make the question about everybody here wants to know. It's how you make the decision process to acquire a talent like Thiago Almada. It's like, why Thiago? How do you find that process, and how do you do that?
Well, I don't watch Major League Soccer. I can only tell you that, I certainly don't want to criticize it. I just haven't watched it. I haven't enjoyed it. I don't like some of the things that the MLS does to restrict the movement of talent. They have something called the homegrown rule, which I don't think is legal, to have contracts with minors when they don't know what they're signing on to. I'm not a big fan of the MLS, and I think that that's affected my desire to watch the MLS. It was actually 2 people that brought me to Thiago. There's an FC Florida player named Julian Gressel, who's one of the first FC Florida players to become significant in the professional ranks. He was Rookie of the Year in 2017, and he was playing for Atlanta United. Now he's at Inter Miami. So I came to watch a couple of his games, got to know the team, got to see Thiago. And then I got a call from a friend at Atletico Madrid, who's one of the owners there, who told me they loved him. We have great friendships with other clubs. And I didn't trust his quality because even though I could see it on television, I didn't trust the level of the MLS. And I knew he was just tearing it up. And I watched more and more. And, you know, quality is quality, whether you're taking a ball in your chest and, you know, striking it, you know, off the volley. It doesn't matter if you do that against a 10-year-old opponent or against, you know, Real Madrid. So I started to see quality in Thiago that was just overwhelming. And I thought it was important to try and bring him to Brazil to test his level, to strengthen the competition. And he had a desire to be a part of our project. He wanted to win championships for Botafogo. He knows he can go to Europe whenever he's ready, but he really wanted to come to Brazil. And obviously it's wonderful that he's close to home. His family's been able to come up and see him play more conveniently than they might have in the United States. So it's just been a great experience. But that's how we found him, you know, just lucky, I guess.
Yeah, it's a great story, so fun. So, I mean, finally, there are a lot of noise coming from England. Do you want to talk something about Everton, or you can do that, or you prefer not to talk?
Oh, no, there's never a question I shy away from. Yeah, we don't have a majority ownership position in Crystal Palace. We are the largest shareholder by far at 45%. There are many other shareholders. The most anybody has is 10%. But we don't own enough of the club to really collaborate on the roster, you know, optimizing a roster. You know, when one club needs a center back and another club needs a winger, you know, this global, you know, footprint of identification, talent identification we have, and this collaboration we have, which is unprecedented, I think, among the multi-clubs. Like our football departments are on the phone with each other all the time as friends. They really like each other. I've terminated the people that are not collaborative. And so now we have a group that trusts each other. So that's why we've been able to optimize so well at times when necessary in Belgium, in Brazil, even in France, where we were able to take ourselves from the bottom of the league, 18th, up until qualification for Europa League. We were the #1 team in France for the second half of last season. So we can't do that with Crystal Palace because there are so many other shareholders and there are natural conflicts of interest that develop. And we've been trying to get ourselves in a position, because it's important to the players that we recruit in our system, that we can give you pathways anywhere in the world. Whether you want to stay in South America and win titles or whether you want to return to South America, our relationships in Europe and England are very important. So we're looking to acquire a majority interest in a Premier League club. We're very open-minded to second division clubs that we think we can get promoted. And it's important, you have to be a champion for the players before you're a champion for the fans and supporters. What I mean by that is players need to trust you with their careers. The best players will join a project, you know, more than they'll want to join just a team. And I think in the long run, when you develop a reputation for taking care of the careers and the pathways of players, you're going to get more and better players in the future. So we have to solve that situation in Europe. In England, we thought we were very close to Everton. I think I'll probably say it for the first time publicly now. We didn't realize, you know, we were within 24 hours, our documents were finished and we were ready to wire, and they were still running a bidding process with another buyer. Sometimes, you know, you can get a lot done on a handshake. Other times you need more than a handshake. And that was a situation that we lost out on because we trusted the outcome too much. So, you know, I make mistakes. Everton didn't happen. You know, there's probably a reason for it. You know, I do think there are reasons for everything. And I think we're going to end up with a better, you know, Premier League situation. And there's a reason that one didn't happen and something else will.
I understand. I fully understand that Liverpool fans are worried about you. It's absolutely clear. Well, I mean, we expect you to visit Buenos Aires soon. See you soon here around River Plate Stadium. You have something to do here.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. I used to come down to Argentina when I was young. It wasn't for football, it was for golf. And beautiful country and incredible people. Argentina, along with Colombia, were the first two countries that I really got to know when I was growing up and visiting South America. So for me, it's amazing that we have this chance earlier than we expected at Botafogo, but this chance to do something really special in Buenos Aires. And the Argentine people are, you know, among the greatest people in the world and the greatest supporters of football. And what a stage and opportunity we have. And I expect our team is going to do their best to live up to the moment.
Well, thank you very much, Sean. Thank you for waiting. You know, we were waiting for 20 minutes for us. We were delayed. It's like an airport here. It's some busy. But
yeah, well, it's a terrific conference, and I really appreciate the invitation. And I could have waited longer than 20 minutes. I promise. It wasn't.
see you on
wasn't a
River
problem.
Plate. Yeah, see you on River Plate Stadium next month. See you.
Yeah, we'll
Bye,
see
thank
you soon. Hasta luego. Hasta luego.
Muchas gracias. Gracias, Nico. Impecable.
Impecable.
Esto, llévalo con vos. Felicitaciones.
Muchas gracias.
Bueno, seguimos.